Okay, so I just want to go over today real briefly some of the things we've already gone over. And I know Jody or Judy, you were catching up because you had a lot of stuff going on when you got involved. But I want to go over, like, did you finish your story? Did everyone finish their story? No one finished? Didi, you did. Dr. D, Scott?
Lots to add to mine.
So here's the thing. Your story's the heartbeat of everything we're going to do, which is why we put it up front. We literally bleed that into everything. I pull for your media kit. I pull for your bios. I grab quotes out of there. We even grab calls to action, because I know that I always have Dr. D write calls to actions for me, because I hate it. I'm like, grabbing yours here, get it now. Like, I have no idea like what a call to action's heartbeat sounds like. But as I'm reading your stories, I hear them, call to action. Ooh, call to action. And I highlight those, and we will go over that and pull that. We just dissect it. Remember, the story doesn't have to be, Scott, this is for you. The story doesn't have to be nice and neat and a beautiful package. It's not getting published. It's a worksheet for me to pull content of who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, what you're passionate about, what led you to doing it, and what your pain points were when you got involved in doing it. So that's all your story is. So I don't want one or two paragraphs. Like, just write your little heart out. It doesn't have to make sense. If you remember a story, then it leads you to remembering another story. Totally okay, because this isn't something we're publishing. So I'm going to move on to the brand. So the brand is super important. And I had all of you guys go into Pinterest. And I know a lot of you shared your boards already. And I had you create a Pinterest board that's private, so no one sees it but you and me, and share it with me. And what I want you to do is, it's a fun exercise. You can do it when you need like brain downtime, because Pinterest for me, yes, Judy, go ahead.
No, I need brain downtime.
Yeah, it's perfect, because literally Pinterest is a rabbit hole. Honest, I'll go in there and look for a cheesecake recipe or something. And the next thing I know, I'm looking at shoes and hairstyles, and it's a rabbit hole. But what I want you to do is grab those things that you're attracted to. I want go to color palettes and start grabbing color palettes that just catch your eye. I want you to see website designs. Just type in website designs, and any website design you see that's like, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I'm attracted to that. Pull them in. Grab as many as you want. I like you to have at least 5 or 6 choices, because we narrow that down. And I start to see, as the designer in me, the interior designer in me goes in, and I see a pattern. I see a pattern of the colors you're gravitating towards. Like, Scott, your pin board is so you. I could not, it's just you. Like, Scott likes outdoors, wood, cowboy stuff, boots, barns, like horses. And I get that theme. Even though every once in a while I see something that's off theme, I still see that running theme of his brand and who he is. And so go in and grab whatever, like textures. I know a lot of you are forgetting to grab fonts. Just type in fonts and grab your favorite fonts. The other thing is, when you're reaching out to people, there's a disconnect on social media for us. There's this huge disconnect on making that personal connection with our clients. It's great when you've talked to them a few times, or especially if they come by word of mouth and their friends told them all about you, so they're starting that connection. But I have you guys create these signatures, because I want you having this beautiful signature on everything you send out. It's kind of like, thank you, like a little lips that you're putting on your envelope, but it's your signature. It's personalized instead of just a text font that, thank you so much, best wishes. I just want this beautiful signature, and we're going to figure out what that tagline for you is, so that people know what you're trying to touch. Or I have a musician that you guys met last week, and hers is finding your true voice, and because she's working with other musicians and what it's like to have poor self-esteem or poor self-image, because when you're in the entertainment business, let's face it, you're either perfect or everything about you's wrong. And they're not afraid to tell you, you're too fat, you're too thin, your hair's too long, it's too short, your nose, and like pretty soon it hurts. And they start thinking everything about them is wrong. So definitely I want that beautiful tagline to go in the brand. So that's something fun that you guys get to do. And on the 3rd month, we started our media kits. I have to have the stories to do the media kits, because that's where we pull a lot of that information. And media kits, we're going to create these beautiful one-page media kits. And all it is a quote of yours. It might be the service you offer. And then this beautiful short paragraph on who you are. And I don't want them to say, like, I'm going to use Dr. D for example, and she's never done this because she's my daughter and she works with me and she knows not to do this. But when she reaches out to someone personally, she doesn't start going, I have a master's and I have a bachelor's and I have a PhD in. She talks from her heart when she first meets someone. And then and obviously we know she's a doctor because it says Dr. D, but then if I say, well, what kind of doctor are you? Then she opens up that conversation into, oh, I'm a doctor of natural medicine, but I also have a PhD in, and she goes on and explains to them all the stuff that she does. But I don't want you to just be that, because it's clinical and it's not connecting, right? But that doesn't mean it's not important. So we do have a bio for work. That bio for work will look like that. Because if you're going to be speaking on for instance, I'll use Dr. D again. If she's speaking at a medical summit, they don't want her heartbeat. They want to know that she's giving value in a clinical way. So we do a professional one and we do a short one. So if I say, I want you on the podcast, you send me a very short paragraph. If I say I want to use you as a book introduction, or I want to put you on a summit, you send them the long one. Here's the thing, once you create all those, they're done. You'll have photos, you'll have the links to everything to connect to you. You'll have all your brand information in this media kit. All they're getting though is one page. Once they get the one page, they click the button for full media kit and they go grab what they need for the event you're going to be in, which is so easy because as an event planner, as podcast host, as an author, whenever I ask somebody for something, I'm always happy to go back to them. No, I need this, or that photo doesn't fit. And it's just so much easier to go to grab what works for me and the event I'm throwing you in. So we're going to create those beautiful media kits for you. After that, we're going to move into the blogging, and I pulled you guys all in because whenever I have an expert, I try to combine as many people as possible. So after that, we'll go into blogging, but I want to make sure we have these three things in place because it's super important when you go into blogging. And the quickest thing you can be doing for blogging that you can do now is start making that list of 12 pain points. What are my clients' 12 pain points? What are they coming to me for? Dee Dee is a hormonal specialist and super easy to pick on you because you're in the middle of my screen, Dee. But she's a hormonal specialist, a doctor of natural medicine. She specializes in balancing women's hormones. And she knows that the things they come to her with are fatigue, like that weight gain they can't lose, headaches. Like she knows exactly what her clients are constantly asking her for. She blogs on those pain points so that if she meets someone and they say, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted, I have so much fatigue. Oh, let me send you to my blog. They get to see how she educates right away. And that blog, by the way, is the entrance to your beautiful spider web. It's evergreen, it's out there. We connect them to your videos. Dee, go ahead and just talk.
This is my 12 pain points written out. And because my focus is on hormones, I actually break down each pain point.
We can't read that. But thank you.
It's okay.
Just got busy.
The whole point is each of the pain points that are on here, I broke down each hormones that are interacting with that actual pain point. So different hormones that interact for your weight gain, or different hormones for stress, different hormones for pain. All of those things are pain points for my clients. And I spend majority of my time educating them on how to balance them out through my 6 pillars. And that creates tons of content that I can use as an educational purpose so that they can kind of get to know me better. And I use it in my social media. I use it everywhere.
Plus, you know what she's just done? She's developed a 12-week or a 12-month program going over those pain points, educating on it with all the information that goes with it. She creates posts off of those blogs. We'll show you when we get to social media how you grab blurbs from the blog that you wrote and you post on it and then lead them for more information, grab my free blog. And so there's just so much more for you to learn. But here's the thing. It sounds like a lot of work, right? Oh my gosh, I'm not a blogger. All I want to do is get exposure and work with my clients. But you have to educate first. And this is evergreen. This stays out in social media planet for life. And if I type in hormonal fatigue or postnatal fatigue or something, her article will pop up a year later, 2 years later. That leads me down her rabbit hole again. So it's like a Pinterest for you. Somebody's going to show up for your brownie recipe and then end up getting something completely different. So it definitely becomes a rabbit hole. But that 12 weeks is really important because, or that 12 pain points, because you literally can repurpose that in a year and do the same thing over and just refresh it. We do that all the time because what I'm teaching isn't any different than what I taught last year. Mindset is what it is. Do I expand on it? Absolutely. So what happens is next year, I do mine seasonally. So like I would grab, we're in summer. So I grabbed summer from last year. I gave it a facelift, new photos, new links, maybe a new free offer, and then out it goes. And so you're not recreating it. I'm pulling people to those blogs all the time. So once you get it done, it just stays there and you just keep pumping it out. I know I have social media posts out for 6 months in advance. Not 6 months, I'm sorry, 60 days. I think Dee Dee does much longer. Don't you do 3 months?
Mine's actually right now into October 30th.
So we do that all in advance. We're going to show you how to do that when we get to social media, because you do not want to spend your time blogging. You do not want to spend your time posting, because you should be spending your time answering comments on your post, not creating all this content, right? So if you spend one day and you wipe it out because you've got that list on what you're talking about, and you're linking back to your blogs, and you have this beautiful flow, you have more time to do what makes you money, working with your clients, answering their comments, engaging with them, instead of all the backdoor stuff that goes on. And it's a lot of work up front, but once we get this created for you, it flows so beautifully so that you have the time to spend with your clients. Scott, you look really quiet.
He might be frozen.
No, he's not frozen.
I was wondering why you're all hooked up.
Oh, I'm healing.
Oh, okay.
I'm sending energy waves through my body because
I figured you were trying to like power the entire house with all your energy.
I am. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, okay, so that's in my head. Okay, every time on LinkedIn, I see your post every single day, right? So I see them and I'm just like, and it's several times a day. And I'm sitting there just like in my office like this going, dear Jesus in heaven, how in the absolute heck am I going to like do that? Like I would be on social media all bloody day.
I hate
all day
social
long.
media.
I could not
I
do
hate social
nothing.
media too.
I would not be able to have any time for it. Like I think this is where I'm getting kind of bogged down in my head, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to do all of this? So
Diana, that is posted in a way in advance. The only thing I post on a regular basis is when my podcasts are released, but I even post those in advance because I'm a month ahead. So those are a month ahead. So they're ready to go. But I will post, if I'm in a summit and it pops up new, I'll post that. I'll fit that into my post. But I don't spend time posting. Once a day, maybe a month, I'll go out, and I'm always a couple months ahead, right?
okay.
So yeah, you don't want to. Here's the thing. If you're not posting, you can reach out to those people. I call it my morning of gratitude. I have one of my clients, Bridget, she'll tell you I reached out in a voicemail on Instagram. She kept liking. She never commented, right? And I saw her liking a lot of things. So I left her a voice message on Instagram that said, hi, I'm Jana with Best Holistic Life. And I just wanted to thank you for stopping by and showing so much love to my page all the time. It took a minute. I didn't even realize I wasn't following you. Well, I am now. And I commented on some of your stuff. Great job. I'd love to connect. She became a client of mine. So I take that time, instead of posting, really going out and thanking people for going on, leaving those little hearts.
Okay.
I do go to the comments as well. I never, ever, ever don't comment back, ever.
Okay.
First of all, it shows tons of comments when people go and they're like, wow, she's got 20 comments. No, I only have 10. But I respond back to everything. So that brings that up in the, the ratings. So definitely comment on everything. But those likes, I want to convert those into comments, to engagement. So I go every morning. It takes me maybe 20 minutes, and I just, she likes a lot of my things. I go look at their page, I leave a message, and then I leave a voice message. And the voice messages are powerful. It's that personal touch, like a video.
Right.
It's better than sending that Instagram text message, and they come back like, oh my gosh, thank you. You say my morning is so awesome getting this right away. And it's just beautiful. So I've created a lot of conversions doing that. And Instagram I have the most followers on Instagram. I think I'm almost up to 45,000. But that, I don't make money off Instagram. That is not my jam. My jam's on LinkedIn because I work with business people. And so most of my people I find on LinkedIn. But that doesn't mean I don't go show love there, but my love is doing that morning of gratitude. I do that with every opportunity I have, including Facebook, and I want to get them engaging in my content. And so if I get engaged in theirs, they're going to return that favor.
Okay, that makes sense.
So does everyone have any questions on your stories, the branding? The branding is a feel. Remember, it's not a color. I can create you the most gorgeous, because I'm an interior designer. I can create you a beautiful website, and it will not do you any good if it's not authentically you. You want to create a feel around you. What is that feel? And I can tell you, one of my podcast guests, I'm going to send you guys all the link as soon as I find it. She was a corporate brander, and she did Pepsi because they were battling with Coca-Cola. She did McDonald's, but she talked about the feel. Like, do you remember that song? All the older people remember, I want to buy the world a Coke. And it's like the whole people are standing and holding hands. That was a feel. I wanted a Coke, and I don't even drink soda. So we want to create that feel around you. It's the same I tell you guys about McDonald's. We don't run through there and feed our kids because it's healthy food. No, they don't even tell us it's healthy, but they created this Happy Meal, and they put a little toy in it, and our kids are like, yay, McDonald's, and your guilt is gone. Like, they're happy, it's food, we're good. So we want to create, what? We want to create that perfect feel around you, your unique feel. And I'm telling you, your story is that beacon. Your story is that beacon of light that shines down on you and blows out into the world and starts drawing people to you. So that is the key, and that's what runs through everything, is your unique story. At some point, when we get to live, London will come in and talk to us. She's amazing. She talks about, she was the face of Adidas doing their Runtastic app. She goes all over the world doing live workout parties. But she's moving behind the camera now, and that's where her new joy is showing others how to shine in front, how to talk, how to get that attraction, how to look good with your selfie. Half the pictures in my magazine are taken with the iPhone. I have learned so many tricks from her. So she's gonna come on and share all those tricks with you, but then we take you live. And we also have you on the podcast, and we are getting ready to launch our YouTube channel for the podcast. We're just finishing it up, but I want to launch it on our 1-year anniversary. So you'll have YouTube content too. And by the way, whenever I put you guys on there, try Googling yourself. I never had Googled myself. And there's like 3 pages of me. And I was like, whoa. And they had my blogs. They had my YouTube content, my podcast, and those things are going to start showing up for you. So we want to get you out there. So if I say, well, who's Scott Gates? And I type it in, all of a sudden, all this content's going to come up. His blogs, his YouTubes, any summit he's been on, his articles in magazines, it's all going to pop up. And we want you to pop, because that's what influencers do, right? They stand out. I'm going to just say this last side note. You can do all this work. You can get to be that person with thousands of followers and money's rolling in. America has, the whole world basically has the mindset that lasts about 5 seconds. So if you stop, you're done. Like, you can't stop. So this is a continual battle if that's where you want to stay, because they just move to the next bright star. And so you have to constantly be feeding your clients what they're hungry for. You have to constantly be touching them and educating them and having yourself out there. Because if I got sick again and I was down for months, I promise you, I would come back, nobody would know who I was. They're on, like moves, right? They're on to that next beautiful, shiny, sparkly item and on there. So I just want to tell everyone that this is a lot of work, and this work continues. The great part of it is the hard stuff's going to get out of the way right away. And so you're going to be doing the fun stuff, the getting out there and touching your clients and, you know, doing those videos. And one of my clients just sent me her like I tell you guys to create a freebie offer. And the best freebie offer is a video offer, but none of my clients, not all of my clients, are very confident in doing a video offer. But if you do a 3 or 4 minute drip campaign, and there's 4 or 5 emails coming out with you educating, you talking, you touching, your personality coming across instead of a PDF they're going to get, you will get so much more conversion. You will have people joining your group. They want to see your personality, and it comes across when you do a video. I just, on the YouTube thing, I had to do an introduction for it, and I forgot to shut my phones off, and beep, beep, right in the middle. And I'm like, I told you this was uncut and raw. I forgot to shut that off. And so I just let my mistake roll. So definitely you guys can be real, just be yourself. But if you want to do a video drip campaign, 100 times better at touching them. I'm not going to push anyone who's not confident with that yet, but I want to get you to that point where you're confident enough to do it.
I will say they're really easy to do and very beneficial if you're trying to educate them on something. Like I just finished them for my challenges.
They're super easy. You just literally hold them in YouTube.
Yep.
And embed that link in and you're good to go. And it's evergreen. Remember, it's always there. So I love it. It's not going to change. So say I'm going to use Judy. I meet Judy on social media, and she's offering a free how to get your health and weight under control, right? And here's the first top 5 steps that you're going to do. And it's a drip campaign. So I get her first email, and there's that 2 or 3 minute video. Here's the first trip number 1. Do this. And she starts talking about it, and I see her personality, how she educates. And the next day I get another one. And there's 3 or 4 of them that come. I see her every day in my email. I'm watching her very short videos. I would not do, I think 5 minutes is pushing it. So I think if you can have 3 to 5 minutes, I think that's a really good spot. And you share those. Oh my gosh, now by the 5th video, I like this lady. She's funny. Some of those tips I'm using right now, I want to get into her social media. I want to start learning more. And you can, by the way, when you do those, you can say, here's a blog, more on that. You can read this blog that will pertain to this. You can keep adding them to more of your content. And so in sales, everyone knows in sales, it's free, ask, right? Free, ask. You give them the free content. You give them a free blog. You ask them into your group. You ask them into your program. But you give and then you receive, and that's how this beautiful world works, right? Free, ask. And so you're giving them the free content. At some point, they're connected to free blogs. Here's another free gift for you. Grab my blog. And you give them this free stuff, and then you ask, I'd love for you to join my Facebook group. And then pretty soon, yeah, maybe there's more stuff in there. So definitely that's the theme that we put throughout your free offers and stuff. But again, I jumped ahead because we still need to get these 3 things done before we move into blogging. And then after blogging, we do your freebie offers. So that's fun. Does anyone have any last minute questions before I let you go? So Media Kit we'll work on as soon as I get a brand feel for you, and as soon as I get a chance to see your stories. And you can just put your stories in the work group. Just literally load it there, and I can go and make notes, or you can share Google Drive with me. And if you share Google Drive, I can write the notes right on the side. The group is really small, and I have new people waiting to come in. Here's the thing, when I do the Premier group and it gets bigger, I won't be able to do that. So now that it's small, take advantage of giving me your stuff where I can go make those highlight notes. Here's basically what I say is heartbeat, meaning this is a great touch point. Quote, this is a great quote. Call to action. I see a call to action here in what you do. And so you use those throughout what we're doing. But when I get 20 or 30 people in a group, I cannot do that. I only do it for the VIPs. So right now the Premier group's small. This is my first Premier group going through, and I can do all that personal stuff for you that I would not normally do.
Jana, on the when you make the highlights on the stories, what are we supposed to do with that exactly? Do we just take those and
you're going
write
to
them
just
down
leave
somewhere?
that for now. Once I make those
Okay.
notes, you'll see where it comes into play when we start doing social media week. Well, I don't know what to post. Yeah, you do. Let's go to your story. Let's go
Okay,
to your
got it.
12
Okay.
pain points. It's so easy.
Okay.
And we start grabbing words that came from your heart out of your mouth that are part of your journey and story. So
Okay.
that's why I like a lot of content when you guys are, I had some girl give me 16 pages and she was afraid to give it to me. It was too much. I'm like, no, that's a lot, but that's good. That means we have a ton of content. The more you give me. And so now I ask people, because it's easier to give me a lot of little short stories. So and you're doing that beautifully, Diana. If you have a lot of short stories that kind of lead you in, that's even better. You're taking your clients on a journey. And you're going to all of a sudden talk, like I might talk about my stomach having to be removed and nobody relates to that. But then I talk about my battle with having to have a double mastectomy, hysterectomy, and all of a sudden women are leaning in like, wait, what? And so your journey has a bunch of little stories and we take them on that journey. At some point, that heartbeat reaches out and connects with someone. They can relate to it. They get drawn in, but you want to make sure when they do and they get to you, you have something to give them, meaning you're feeding them, you're giving them the blogs, you're giving them stuff so that they're not just there like, now what? Does that all make sense, guys?
Yep. Totally.
Perfect. Then I think we're done for today. I will see you guys next week. Go ahead and send me messages. You know, I'm going to ask you guys, if you're in the Premier group, to leave messages in the Premier group. And here's why. If you have that question, I promise you, so does someone else. And that way, when I answer a question you have, everybody's getting the benefit. And they might be like, oh, I was wondering what to do with that too. Oh, I was wondering what that was for, or how we're going to get that done. So ask in there. And I think when I get to blogging, when we get to that week, I'll have Dee Dee show you how she puts her blogs together and how she repurposes. By the way, if you write me 12 blogs, that means I can put out 60 blogs, because I'm going to have you repurpose them into 4 other blogs. It's the same content, different titles, different photos, different headings, maybe a different call to action. But you don't want to just blog on your website, right? I blogged on my website. I had the same 20 beautiful people reading it every week and commenting, but I wasn't getting any new readers because there was no new people on my website. But if I put my blogs out on other social media sites and it ends up on Pinterest and on articles, pretty soon my reach is now their reach. Wherever they were reaching, they're pulling into my circle. So that's a huge way of drawing people into your little tribe and circle of trust, where people are coming and getting to know you, is blogging on other sites. So once you do those 12 blogs and we convert them, that's 60 blogs a year you're putting out there, right? Through other social media sites. And that's even if you don't ever make another blog. You never write another blog, which I suggest you do, because right now people are blogging about pandemic. Who knew we were going to have one that's going to last this long? And so definitely, Scott, you knew. So yeah, you can always keep adding to your little forte. The one thing I do, and if it's relevant to you, I would do it, is I do seasonally. Because and I know Dr. D does seasonally, because new foods come out every season, right? She talks about what's fresh, what's here, how to use that and make use of it. So it's easy for me to put summer articles out, or spring, or back to school, right? The same things happen. Christmas always happens in winter. So it's a lot easier to do seasonal articles. All right, guys.
Where do you blog? Where do you put them? You said to put them on other places, not just obviously your website, but other
so
places.
I will give you guys a list for the VIPs. I submit them for them, but for the Premier group, I give you a list to submit. It's super easy. Your blogs have to be, I don't want to get ahead, but your blogs have to be at least 1,200 words. Dee Dee will give you all the tips on what brings a good blog. And I'll tell you, she writes amazing blogs. She gets 5,000 hits on my site for her blogs, 5,000. And if people are like, I don't believe that, go to Pinterest and see how many people clicked on it. Because I post all the blogs on Pinterest, because I have a huge Pinterest channel. Sometimes it's 1 million people that are following a month. Right now, I think we're at 350,000 because I've done nothing with it but post instead of getting engaged, because I'm only one person. But you can definitely see that she has, and here's the funny part, you know how I tell you to repurpose them? Sometimes she'll blog and it's a great content and she'll get 100 people. And I'm like, what's going on? We'll change out the photo and the title. That's it. Put the pin back up on Pinterest and boom, it gets tons of hits, like thousands. And it's just because that's what caught their eye. And we start to learn what your clients are hungry for, what's drawing them to you. And so now with her, I've been working with her for a while. So we've hit her sweet spot and we know what that looks like. And she pretty much does it on her own. The only thing is when she posts on my page, I post on Pinterest.
I'm working on my Pinterest right now as we speak.
Perfect.
So yay. Any questions for me for this week? Nope. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Have fun.
Okay.
Don't jump ahead of blogging unless you're a VIP. Don't jump ahead because you really need the story. It's the heartbeat. Remember, we're going to use it for everything. I need to know the brand so I can move forward into what that blog looks and feels like. And I need to get your media kit ready because you will start getting asked to speak on summits and stuff. And you just want to send them one page and they just click it and get anything they need. And it looks really professional. There's a lot of people, I don't want to get it more confusing.
So easy.
But you can add it to your website. You can have a media page that no one sees. And so I like to keep as much on my website as possible so I get that traffic. So if they just click the link, it literally takes them to my website that gives them my bios, my photos, and they just grab what they want. Where I've already been featured in, like the magazines I've already been featured in, the our podcast I have been a speaker on, or the summits I've been in, and they can click that link and watch my interview. So they could say, oh, yeah, I got to have this lady on mine. Like, she's amazing. She's fun. And so they can see how you are on a podcast or something. You will get so many more invites to speak out in the world, even public speaking places when we get back to that. When the world lets us go back out in public.
Yeah. Someday. Okay.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thanks.
Thank you. You
Jenna.
too.